Hello and welcome to Logitech G at E3 after what has been a very successful day for Microsoft. But it's not just good news for people who own an Xbox, it's good news for everyone who likes games.
Well, first off, let's get the big one out of the way first. Halo Infinite. Master Chief is back. I really don't know what number we're on at this point. In fact, we've not even added a number, it's now just Halo Infinite. What does this mean?
It technically is Halo 6, so Aaron Greenberg has actually said that it is Halo 6. The name is kind of interesting because some people are speculating it implies some kind of open world, but truthfully we don't know yet. The big thing with this is that the focus is back on Master Chief, which I think some people will be quite pleased with after the sort of slight divergence from that with Halo 5. And the other really good news for PC owners is that it is definitely coming to PC, which is good because Halo 5 didn't. So really, apart from that, there's not too much that we can say about it.
What you were saying about the open world though, it looks incredible. I mean, we have these sweeping forests, we've got these big empty spaces. It looks incredible, and they're talking about another engine. Is that a new engine?
Yeah, so 343 have developed this on the Slipstream engine. And I have nothing deeper to say than it does look incredible. So we've seen a lot of the world and some of the things in the world, and all we've seen of the Chief really is that sort of snippet of the helmet and that piano chord, which is kind of cool because it will just remind you of the sort of the excitement the Master Chief can sort of encourage just from that single shot. So.
And it's nice, they have just left us with that tease. We have no release date, it will be ready when it's ready, I assume, and that's all we have. So it's an exciting trailer, an exciting tease, an exciting confirmation, but that's all we know so far, and it's kind of okay that way.
So next up we have Cyberpunk 2077, which we knew was coming, but we didn't know in exactly what format or where we see stuff about it. So it's kind of been a 6-year wait really for some more information.
Long wait,
yeah,
a bit of a long wait, it's a couple of E3s.
And we've only had that one trailer so far, but it's looking pretty strong.
It is, it's coming from CD Projekt Red, obviously of Witcher fame, but what's interesting, they're saying it's a mature, non-linear storytelling it basically means sandbox, right? We have an open world of android violence and VR and insanity, right?
Yeah, the mature stuff is reflected in the trailer, but that perhaps isn't the most interesting thing about this trailer. So Polygon have been digging into it. There's a bit at the end that they paused and they did some color correction, and there's a block of text there with loads of stuff that CD Projekt Red have promised about Cyberpunk 2077, including things like the same sort of free DLC packages that The Witcher had, which is really cool.
Good news.
One of the weirder things that they promised is that it doesn't have a release date yet because they're not going to release it until it's ready, which is kind of very in keeping with their ethos. And it's kind of reassuring as well, so we know this isn't going to be rushed out.
So that's 2 games that we now don't have a release date for, but it does get better. This list isn't just you're going to have to wait for a long time, I promise.
The best thing of all, in a very CD Projekt Red kind of way, is that they have said there are going to be no microtransactions, because why would you have microtransactions in a single player game? So there we go, Devil May Cry 5, who was expecting that? Some people probably because I think it leaked last week, but 10 years after the last proper Devil May Cry game, I say proper, there have been...
DMC has been around, the one that I didn't really hate it, it was a bit cool. You know, it was one of these...
There's your box quote, I didn't really hate
it, but it was cool, but proper, we've got Capcom.
Yeah, so this is Hideki Itsuno again, the guy that did the other Devil May Cry games. It's weird because Microsoft bought Ninja Theory, but now we're getting a Capcom Devil May Cry game, which is cool.
And it is on PC and PS4 as well, so everyone can play. It's not just a Microsoft exclusive, which is important. But what we do have is we have demons, and we have a new protagonist, Nero.
Yeah.
And who has lost his arm, and there's another character called Nico who's designed lots of interesting prosthetic metal arms that can do all kinds of interesting things. So if it wasn't good enough that you could shoot demons or slice them up, you can also, by the looks of the trailer, put defensive forces up against them, electrify them, and do all kinds of interesting things, which does look really fun, really chaotic. And that trailer just makes me want to play.
It's a lovely trailer.
It's a great trailer.
Not included in the trailer as well, but apparently true, is 3 playable characters, all with different playstyles, so it's going to be quite a busy, interesting mad game.
And spring 2019, so there is a release schedule which we can work around, even if it's delayed a little bit, we know it's coming next year, so there's your first one of this list that actually has a release date, so that's exciting. Next up, we've got The Division 2 from Ubisoft's massive entertainment studio. Now, we hadn't seen any of this, we'd had it confirmed, but this was the first time we actually saw gameplay capture, and you know, it's There's still a virus. We are still shooting guns, but now we're going out into the wilderness. It's really leafy. There's lots of jungle.
So we are dying, but at least it looks nice.
Exactly. It's all about that. It's about looking pretty. And we also had the small problem. Well, maybe it's not a problem for you, but I find it a bit of a problem. Ubi's gaming chat.
I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, I always communicate as succinctly.
I'm going to go in this direction.
Just shooting down this care package. No swearing, no one being angry.
I'll switch out my abilities.
We're probably being a bit mean. It does look lovely.
It looks very nice, but obviously we have to get in a sly dig as to how people don't actually speak like that. However, we don't have a release date. We are waiting on Ubi at their conference, hopefully confirming a release date, showing a little more, but we'll have to wait and find out. But right now, it still looks amazing.
And next we have Forza Horizon 4, which lets you drive sports cars past tractors and henges. In other words, it recreates the realistic British driving experience.
It is definitely my driving experience. This is the most exciting thing about it. I can drive in Edinburgh. Yes, this is a Scottish accent, not an Irish one. It's a Scottish accent. So I can drive in Edinburgh in a sports car, in a video game, with seasons. This is what I live for this.
The season thing is kind of important, isn't it? Because this feels like the E3 of weather. And you can't make a game about anything in Britain unless you include all the different types of weather, including all different 25 different types
snow,
of drizzle. And
we've got leaves, smur, look up that Scottish word. There you go, check out your Urban Dictionary. It's not as offensive as it sounds.
But weather jokes aside, this does look spectacular. It's got that kind of playful Horizon feel, so it's not quite as serious as the main Forza games, which is good because most of it you'll probably be spent stuck on the M25.
Or driving sports cars in Edinburgh. It's out on October 2nd, and I personally can't wait. It's beautiful, 4K, amazing. Let's do it. I would like to ask you an existential question.
Right.
Is it even a Microsoft conference if a Gears of War game is not announced?
Well, it's a complicated...
Stop. Okay, you don't need to answer the question. Gears of War 5 was announced at the Microsoft conference. It's called Gears 5.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not even a Gears of War game, is it? It's just Gears 5. So it could be Gears of anything. It could be Gears of Romance. Gears of Breakfast.
But it's not. It's Kate Diaz from Gears of War 4.
Okay, it is that.
So it is a Gears game. And it's coming next year. It's coming from Coalition Development, who have been working on this franchise since 2014.
2014, yeah.
And also, it looks beautiful.
It does. It looks incredible. It's in 4K, it's HDR, 60 frames per second, and it's going to be on PC as well. Just Cause 4, which is out this year on December the 4th, which is really rather exciting.
Yeah, and we found something that Rico can't actually shoot or attach a grenade to while it walks.
I mean, he can do both of those things.
He could, but it's a cyclone.
Yeah.
And we now have, it's our second game in this list that has weather as a serious selling point. So you've got cyclones, you have parachutes, you have wingsuits, you have even more explosions,
Grappling
you have cars.
Yes.
Yeah. Basically the chaos of every Just Cause game is back and bigger.
It looks a little bit darker, but like there is still a bit in that trailer where he tries to ram a tornado with a car, so you kind of got some sense of what the tone of this game is. And
it's coming from Avalanche Studios, who are being very busy just now because they're also working on Rage 2 for Bethesda. So chaos, carnage, explosions, weather. Yes. If you've ever wanted a platformer that will break your heart as much as your thumbs in frustration, then Ori and the Will of the Wisps is the sequel that you want to look out for next year. Why are you looking at me like that?
Because why would anyone want that?
Well, if you played Ori and the Blind Forest, which is the original, then you know exactly. Beautiful, gorgeous, fuzzy feelings, but also, oh no, such frustration, and everything needs to be perfect. So it's one of those beautiful games that gives you that wonderful feeling of satisfaction when you inevitably get that, just that bit right. And I'm really looking forward to that next year with this. It's much brighter, Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Everything's in 4K, as a lot of the other games on this list, which is excellent. Everything's going to look beautiful. It's coming to PC as well. I can't wait. There's owls and bats and scary things and spiders like Limbo, and he's not going to get a chance to talk.
I can't wait.
You've disagreed entirely with me, but Ori and the Will of the Wisps, I'm absolutely in. I can't wait. And finally, because I didn't really let Matt talk at all in the last entry, you're allowed to talk now. Why are you excited now?
That's really kind of you, thank you. So I'm excited for Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, which is the new FromSoft game from Activision, and it is really interesting. So it's a samurai game, very much in the same sort of vein as Dark Souls in terms of combat, but there are some big differences here. So a lot of the traversal around the world feels a lot less like previous FromSoft games, so there's a lot of like grappling hooks, there seems to be a bit of stealth, you can jump about. I mean, you could jump in other FromSoft games, just not particularly well. So that's kind of exciting as well, but like in terms of the combat, there's definitely that heritage of FromSoft games in there with even like the door opening animation is the same as it is in Bloodborne and in Dark Souls.
It's incredible. It looks like there's incredible enemies in there as well. The design of that, I mean, you're not just going around killing humans. This is something quite special.
Yeah, it's a weird one. It kind of has sort of like a sort of almost an Akira Kurosawa take on Dark Souls, which is like all the things I love in one like grimy blood-covered package. So that's rather nice.
And it's out next year, right?
It is out next year, and it's out on everything as well, not just Xbox. I think the final thing to mention is the name, which alludes to the sort of death, rebirth mechanic, which is always a part of all FromSoft games, and is definitely going to be a part of this as well. So the trailer talks about dying and being born again, which means it's probably going to be that same cycle of finding a new boss, getting killed, getting angry, trying for an entire evening, and then giving up and trying again.
Over and over.
Yeah.
Over and over.
So there you go, 9 games from the Microsoft conference that we're especially excited to play.
Let us know what you're most excited about in the comments below. Drop us a like if you enjoyed Matt's terrible jokes, and don't forget to subscribe to Logitech G for constant updates on E3 2018.